On this episode of the Bronze Metalist Podcast, we talk about Spiritual Instinct by Alcest. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Metalist Podcast. I'm KO.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters. We like metal and we like to talk about it. And today we're talking about French bands that I think most generally could be described as just a post-metal band or a post-black metal band or black gaze, if you like, although their style kind of predates the rise of that subgenre or community is maybe a more accurate kind of way, because it's really just kind of a handful of bands. It's not enough to really. There's metal subgenres that are smaller than the black gaze community.
Sure.
So I think when I say that, it sounds like I'm talking about African American homosexuals.
Yeah, but no, it is black G-A-Z-E,
as in shoegaze.
Some of them might be black gays. Who knows?
It's entirely possible. Alcest's French band. Maybe pronounced Alcest. I don't know. There's not the accent mark over the E.
All we found out is that it means French band.
Sure. They've been around for a while. We'll talk about them a little bit later. First, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
We're in the wake of Halloween, and you had words. You had a cool costume on Halloween. You're bareheaded at the moment.
I am bareheaded and bare chin now because for No Shave November. But yeah, I dressed up as Kratos.
Or
Kratos. Yeah, and my 11-year-old was Atreus.
You costumes looked pretty awesome.
Yeah, they worked out very well.
And it was a beautiful night. When you told me what you were doing, I was like, it's gonna be cold. But that was like a week in advance, and it turned out to be a very, very beautiful night. I still
got comments walking around trick or treating. Aren't you cold?
It's 65 degrees out.
Can't even see my breath.
It's not too bad. It was pretty nice. It's pretty nice tonight.
Yeah.
Not going to be very nice tomorrow morning.
Nope. No, this was the last warm day of the year, I bet you.
I think you're probably right. Although Saturday is going to be in the 50s again. Supposedly.
I suppose you can call that warm, but I mean, warm as in
warm for November in North Dakota.
Sure.
Sure. But what were you going to say?
I was going to say prior to tonight. I mean, of course, I listened to the album a couple of times today. But then another thing I wanted to do while I ate soup is I wanted to watch a movie, and I'm like, let's go on to HBO Max. You know, the Star Trek movies. I haven't watched the Star Trek movies in a long time. For some reason, I wanted to start with the one that I saw on the night of my bachelor party. Okay. Because I'm a wild son of a bitch.
Yeah. You're pretty crazy for this one.
Which is
karaoke birthday party on a Tuesday. You're crazy for this one, Timothy.
We went to go see First Contact.
Okay.
Which I hadn't seen.
Which number is that? First Contact is
94.
Okay, that's
number 1994, yeah.
That's a next gen movie, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, it is.
That's not one of the original movies.
No, this is post Generations.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd forgotten how cringy the movie is. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to watch. But I'm thinking, there's other shit that I need to do around the house. But say I'm done with my suit, do I want to sit and continue watching this movie? And then at the moment where James Cromwell, aka Zephram Cochrane, the inventor of warp tech.
This is one of the ones where they go back in time.
Yeah,
right?
this is a time travel one, and
to like the 70s.
No, to the 2060s.
Okay.
2060s.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a different. I'm not a Star Trek person,
right?
So
Star Trek 4 went back into the 80s.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, The Voyage Home. But in this movie, at the point where James Cromwell says, "So you people are astronauts on some kind of Star Trek?" I'm like, okay.
I must become Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Yeah. And to get James Cromwell to deliver that line, come on. He's a treasure.
He has even Alfre Woodard she was kind of over. She was hamming it up in this movie as well. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
Oh, actress.
I'm afraid I am unfamiliar.
Uncultured swine.
I thought you were going to say that you started at the beginning with the first
the motion
Star Trek
picture
movie. Yeah, Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
I haven't watched that. I saw that in the drive-in. Was the last time I saw that movie.
The movie with the highest percentage of suggestive dialogue that somehow ends up being the least sexy. Like
the first movie?
Yeah. Star Trek The Motion Picture is loaded with suggestive dialogue and like sexual themes, but it's a deeply unsexy movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you can actually take naps.
It's
during
fucking
the movie.
called V'ger.
Yeah. We need to penetrate the V'ger.
The V'ger orifice is what they call it repeatedly. Like, but just delivered with complete and utter sincerity. And hey, look, it's Star Trek, all right? Like these are professionals, okay?
Right.
As much as everyone remembers Kirk for constantly sleeping around, the man's a goddamn professional,
right,
when he needs to be. But yeah, it's like for a movie that is so loaded with seemingly double entendres. It is just deeply, deeply unsexy.
There's no tundra at all.
Yeah.
Did you read what William Shatner said about going to space?
Yeah, it was very poignant.
Yeah. He said it was depressing.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was poignant, but also depressing.
Yeah.
When he was able to get his thoughts out without Jeff Bezos fucking interrupting him by spraying champagne everywhere.
That's not a metaphor.
God fucking damn it, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Did you hear about? Because I never watched season 2 of The Witcher. But did you hear that Henry Cavill is leaving the show after season 3?
Right. Yeah. He's turning it over to a Hemsworth.
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth.
Liam Hemsworth. Yeah.
Which I heard some kind of things about season 2 and was like, I don't really feel like watching this because I was already kind of lukewarm on the first season. Like, this was good, but I can't see this being my favorite show.
I enjoyed it. But going in, everybody had said, yeah. And so until I watched it, I went, if it's any more than, yeah, I'll like it. You know, which it was.
Yeah.
I thought.
But the speculation online essentially is that not only did someone else probably offer Cavill a bunch of money to go, namely HBO for House of the Dragon, but also that he was probably just sick and fucking tired.
Well, he said he hated it.
Yeah, of just arguing with the showrunners about how things should be, because he's a massive fan of the books and the games and everything. And you know, please playing the chief character, and he has ideas for how things should go, and they would not fucking listen to him. Like
that's frustrating.
Deeply wanted it to be closer to the books, and his requests were heard and ignored over and over again, as it would seem. And that's gotta fucking suck to like sign on to a project that you like going in care about deeply, and then to have the people in charge of running that project like completely shit all over this thing you love. Imagine Wes Chatham going into The Expanse, which was, you know, a book series that he loved. It's getting made into a TV show, and I'm gonna, you know, I got the part for my favorite character in those books,
right?
And then finding out that they turned it into like a fucking
musical comedy.
Musical comedy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the problems were not that massive with The Witcher, where it was not a complete genre change, but yeah, it's like and I don't know how the fuck, other than you want to keep making the show, but it's like the idea of changing the casting for a character that integral, the recasting the main character of the entire series when everybody agrees that the original actor was perfect casting. Like,
you know, something's going down.
And it's like, but how do you justify continuing that, right? Like, other than, well, we got to keep making the show because we want to keep making money.
Right.
From all the people who don't care because it's Netflix and they need something to watch.
Well, I think what they do is they make it so that he every once in a while has to regenerate. The Witcher is just basically Doctor Who. Right,
yeah. He's gonna. Oh my God! What if they do the thing where like Geralt undergoes like the magic plastic surgery that Yen got? That's just dumb enough for them to do.
Yeah,
they're gonna do that. I guarantee it. And I get he's getting magic plastic surgery to have a slightly more angular face and somewhat fuller lips.
And Australian now.
And now he's Australian. I guess fucking Chris Hemsworth is absolutely massive. I guess I don't know if Liam is capable of hitting the same levels of Jesus fucking Christ that man is jacked that Henry Cavill has so many times.
Same gene pool from Chris,
but it's also like, now I'm thinking too much about shirtless Jack dudes at the moment, but
I started that because you saw my photos from
Sure.
Halloween.
Yeah, because you're so jacked. But like, I believe I'm remembering it correctly that Henry Cavill has a very hairy chest.
Does he?
I feel like he does. I can't remember.
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember if he's particularly hairy or not. Because now I'm thinking of Chris Hemsworth as Thor, who is, like beach body, bare chested, not a piece of body hair outside those armpits. I think.
I don't remember. Do you see The Witcher with his shirt off in the show?
Yeah.
Do you? I don't remember.
There's like a whole bath scene thing.
Well, that's in the game.
Well, yeah, but in the show as well, because there's an interview.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
There's an interview that Henry Cavill did about how ludicrously dehydrated he had to be for that scene.
Right.
That his body was just soaking up the water from the bathtub, and they had to like refill it because he had been dehydrating for like a week.
Right.
To make his like veins pop out more. But I can't remember if he's like, I think he's kind of a hairy dude, Henry Cavill.
They can special effect all that shit now.
Well, yeah. But
so, I mean, if Liam turns
why
out
am I concerned about the amount of chest hair on The Witcher?
I don't know. We've talked about this for far too long.
Yeah. This is like fucking in, what is it? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
How Mac can't stop talking about Predator. It's like the body mass in that movie alone is Mac. This is the conversation we were trying to avoid. A conversation about body mass. It's what happens every time you bring up Predator. But in completely separate news, I have been playing the first Dead Space game.
Right.
Because Halloween was coming up and I was just like, I want to play something scary. Because I've been in kind of like a video game slump as far as like regularly playing a video game ever since I finished Elden Ring. Like I finished Elden Ring back in fucking April, and like all summer long I was just like, I don't know what video game I want to play. I don't want to play any video games. Like just not doing fucking anything. I played Kenshi for a little while, but I fell off of that. You don't want to
re-go through Elden Ring?
I will at some point, but I just feel like it's slightly too soon. And also I have it in my head that whenever I buy a new console, which we had a discussion about this yesterday, which will probably be a PlayStation 5.
Right.
At some point I'll get around to it because I don't need an Xbox Series X. Although it would be like something that I literally just thought of is it would be decent to have a Series X because I have Game Pass.
Sure.
Although I think my subscription is just for PC games, but like it's not too much more to get PC Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass, which would make a Series X appealing. But I have it in my head that I'm not going to replay Elden Ring until I get like a console, and I'll buy it for that console because it doesn't run particularly well on my PC. It has some
on PS4 runs great.
Yeah, it has some hiccups on my PC that make it the longer you play, the more frustrating it can be. where there will be like huge stutters because it's pretty poorly optimized for PC.
I'm surprised they haven't fixed that yet.
I mean, maybe they have. I
suppose you haven't played it since April.
I havened played it since April, so I don't know if it's better than it was.
Because there have been a lot of updates on console.
That's true. I'll occasionally read patch notes that pop up on Reddit, and it seems like the lion's share of the stuff they've been doing most recently is just gameplay updates of like ultra weapon, ultra sized weapons swing faster, so on and so. Like
we're gonna nerf these couple of things.
Like PvP stuff seems to be what the imbalanced stuff seems to be what they've been working on, and not necessarily software stuff, but maybe there's stuff that's snuck by me that has been fixed. I was thinking about this yesterday. My PC's actually getting it's older than I think it is. I still think of it as a new PC, but I've had it for like 4 years.
And in computer technology, that's you might as well
fairly
be
old.
You might as well be steampunk.
Basically. Yeah. But it's like, I feel like the argument used to be with PCs is that it was they were better than consoles because they were this was before the era of cryptocurrency, when it was actually relatively feasible to build your own PC, maybe not for cheaper than for a console, but you could build your own PC, and then whenever you needed an upgrade, you could just buy that part.
Right.
And it would be a lot better than, having to buy a new generation of a console. You just buy that one part that you need to upgrade and it's fine. That's not the fucking case anymore because of fucking cryptocurrency making every single part of a fucking computer astronomically expensive.
Right.
Because they're stupid fucking dumbass looking monkeys. Here's my old monkey picture. Just fucking are NFT. Do people still give a shit about NFTs? Or did those kind of die a slow death?
There are people who still give a shit about them, but it's nowhere near
what it was.
Yeah, what it was.
Good. Yeah. All of that shit can fucking die. If I had some sort of magic power, or it's like, remove an annoying thing from the world. It's just like you can remove one thing from the world, but it can only be something that's like kind of annoying, not something that's like big and evil. Because if it's like, oh, you can fix one problem with the whole world, obviously there's more pressing issues than cryptocurrency. But if it's just like you can remove the thing that annoys you the most, that just kind of bothers you that it exists, be like crypto, fucking get rid of it. But, if I had 3 wishes for the whole world, obviously there's better uses for that.
Sure.
But, crypto's dumb. And I would like to be able to buy a new graphics card for less than, $2,000.
Right. That'd be great.
No, cannot do that. When I bought my computer, it was at that point, cheaper to buy an entire pre-built PC and rip the graphics card out of it than it was to buy just the graphics card. Weirdly, just bizarrely, I don't know exactly how that worked out, but that's what it was. I'm kind of a pre-built. I think whenever I upgrade to a new rig, I will have to have it custom made. And because I don't know enough, and I don't know if I care enough to really build it myself, but I can just talk to any number of people who I know who do care and be like, hey, here's my budget. Build me the best PC you can in this budget. Give me a parts list. I will order them, and then you can help me put it together because I am dumb and will do something wrong.
Putting in cards into computers like that
fucking scares me.
It's scary because you have to use so much force on a thing that's so brittle.
Yeah, it seems like it should be way easier, but no, right. It's like I don't want. I feel like I'm gonna break something. 'Cause I feel like I'm a fucking caveman. I don't care for it. Just be like, please, just build this for me. I will watch you. I will help you. I will hand you the little screwdriver or whatever. Can you be my dad? Dad, can you build my computer for me? I hate it when people are just like, it's just like big kid Legos. It's like big fucking, okay. Legos don't require thermal paste. All right. I don't know what the fuck that is or how to apply it. It's all there in the instruction book for Legos. They don't even need to put fucking words in there.
You can just figure that shit out on your own. Just
it's
look at
all
a picture.
Pictures. They don't need to put any words in those books. It's a triumph of graphic design, Lego instruction manuals. There's like, I feel like I saw a very lengthy post about how genius the way they make instruction manuals is. Lego is wonderful.
It is. Who was talking about this? There was a story about a woman who was invited to she thought her son was invited to her friend's son's birthday party.
Okay.
And so they're like, oh, we have to get him a gift. And they bought him a big Lego set.
Oh, boy.
And they came to the party and they saw, oh, shit, craft beer, shirts. Oh, this is her husband's birthday, not her son. So they dropped the present off and quickly walked away from it. And like an hour later, they heard from somewhere across the house, Lego! Sweet! Who got me Legos?
Yeah, that'd be me. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been too long since I bought a Lego set for myself. The problem is like all the ones that I want to buy, way too fucking expensive.
Right. Oh yeah. You want to buy this little thing that's it's like $100 for this.
It's like fucking Warhammer. It's way too fucking expensive these days. At least for like anything beyond the basic, play sets and whatnot, which I don't want. I want like the cool, like collector's edition shit. But of course, that's going to be $8 billion for this giant Millennium Falcon that's going to cover an entire table.
That does give me like small panic attacks going into the Lego store in the Mall of America.
Oh, God.
Just walk into just seeing, it's Dora the Explorer. Do you know how long it took them to build fucking Dora the Explorer? Like thousands of hours it would have taken because she's taller than I am.
Oh, the statue.
Yeah.
I was confused of what you were talking about for a second.
Yeah. Look, there's a lion. That's twice the size of a regular lion.
That was somebody's job.
Yeah.
I envy that person.
Yeah,
seems like a decent gig. But anyway, shall we talk about Alcest?
Yeah, let's talk about incest.
Hey. So Alcest is a French black metal post-black metal band that was founded back in 2000 as just sort of a regular black metal band. And talking about like the early history of the band, it's also perhaps worthwhile talking about how there are times where if you are browsing certain like black metal communities on the internet, particularly the sort of those associated with the red and anarchist black metal community, there is discussion on whether or not Alcest is a sketchy band to listen to. And the reason for that is because there's another band that Nej was in early in his career, like when he was a teenager, called Peste Noire. And that band, and particularly the frontman of that band, who goes by Famine because it's black metal, that band is very heavily associated with National Socialist black metal. Famine is a self-described fascist. And it's to the degree, like this gets brought up periodically, and in sort of the global fallout of the George Floyd protests, it got brought up again. People kind of, reevaluating the people who make the media that they listen to.
Right.
And Nej put out a post being like, I've explained this dozens of times before, but I will explain it again. I was 15 years old and I wanted to play in a black metal band in France, and there were not a lot of options for that.
That's because it's France.
And I did not agree with the band's politics then. I still do not agree. This is something that Famine and the rest of the band were aware of at the time. And he wasn't even like really a full member of the band. He was like a session musician and like a drummer that would like play live shows with them. But he's like, people occasionally will try to, ask me if I'm, in line with far right ideals. And he's like, I'm not. I find that reprehensible and disgusting. But I was 15 years old, and it was a long time ago. I don't know if he was 15, but he was a young man.
Uh-huh.
I'm paraphrasing heavily here, but he, basically he's talking about like, yeah, it was a while ago and I was a kid and didn't know any better.
I totally get that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like if you're depending upon what part of the world you're from, your options are pretty limited depending upon what kind of music you want to play. And there are going to be people who might take you in and let you achieve that part of your dream that are maybe not so savory.
Right.
And it can be, if you want to pursue, if you want to continue to pursue that, then that's what you got to go with.
When I was 15, I mean, I was burning books. I bombed London.
You were,
Yeah, when I was 15, I totally grew out of that, though.
Yeah, you were building missiles and launching them into London and whatnot.
Exactly. I took over Warsaw.
You conquered much of continental Europe.
I did. Plus Northern Africa.
Plus Northern Africa. But yeah, basically, just talking about this is something that's from a long time ago that bothers me. And like almost all of their music is in French, so I do not understand the lyrics.
I think it's pretty non-political.
Yeah. Well, and it's like obviously the vibe from the vast majority of their material is something that is much more sorrowful or peaceful, sometimes bright and kind of hopeful. There's just like a straight up post-rock album that I have on vinyl, actually.
Really?
That they made that was a couple albums before this one, I think came out in 2014. But it's like none of their music has anything to do with that.
Right.
And it's like they get brought up as like, is this band sketchy or not? And I think it's pretty easy to say definitively that they're not sketchy. That if you are listening to Alcest and supporting Alcest monetarily, you are not supporting a piece of shit.
Exactly.
I've never heard anything about Nej that suggests he is anything other than a very kind and nice person to be around.
Right.
So.
Except that he's French. So
That's obviously, immediately some negative points.
He's a really great guy that smells bad and is rude.
I saw a comment of someone reacting to like the post that he made. And they said like, what the fuck else does a guy need to do? Kill Varg? And someone was like, that would be an interesting end to Varg's story. If Varg was murdered by someone on the opposite end of the political spectrum, that would be just another chapter in the interesting life of Louis Cachet.
And Nej, just make sure you stab him in the head at least once.
If not, a couple dozen times in self-defense.
Yeah, in self. Let's be clear and on record here. We're not telling anybody to murder anybody. We don't actually want that.
But if someone was going theoretically to be killed, I wouldn't be sad if it was Varg. It would not. That wouldn't bother me. But the band Alcest has been around for a while at this point. Their first little EP that they did was much more just sort of like a straight black metal product. And then it kind of became a solo project for Nej for a while.
Right. It's basically just the two people now.
Yeah, it's just two people at this point.
Yeah.
I can't remember the drummer's name or if he has a stage name.
It's a stage name. I can't remember what it is. It's like It's not Hellhammer, but I mean, it's like that. Speaking of,
Neige, by the way, means winter in French.
Right. It's also his stage name.
Yes, that's his stage name. I can't remember his actual name either.
It's like too long. It's
too long to try and fucking French names.
What is your name again? It's Neige.
Neige.
It rhymes with beige.
But they sort of started to transition with like their first couple of albums from being just a black metal band into being kind of the prototype for black gaze that would be picked up on by bands like Deaf Heaven and so on and so forth.
Sure.
Even though Deaf Heaven at this point is kind of abandoned any of the black metal parts of their sound. I haven't listened to the newest Deaf Heaven album all the way through. I kind of listened to part of it and I was just like, they kind of lost what I enjoyed about them.
You ever heard of a band called The Gathering?
Probably. Sounds vaguely familiar.
Death metal band. They were Dutch death metal band. Their first album, definitely.
Oh, is this the band that there's somebody that I know of was in the band, right?
Yes.
Whom?
Oh my God! Why have I forgotten her name?
Was it Anneke van Giersbergen?
Yeah, Anneke van Giersbergen.
Okay.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember if it was her or one of the original vocalist from Arch Enemy.
I thought it was Elizabeth.
One of those two.
No, I think the singer from that band. I mean, definitely a death metal band in 1992. And if you listen to their stuff like 4 years later, it's like
completely different.
It doesn't sound like at near the same. I like both versions, but
yeah,
I wouldn't say it's the same band. I mean, even though it physically is.
Yeah. But yeah, the albums that they started to release throughout the 2000s sort of put down the blueprint for what this sound would be. Then there was sort of a period in between there where, like I said, that just like straight up post-rock album that they made, where there were no screamed vocals whatsoever. And it's a good album.
The singing on this is really good.
Yeah, Neige is an amazing singer. He's very good. He's good at scream vocals. Very, very good at traditional singing as well.
There's some harmonies on here.
Yeah, no, this is a beautiful album to listen to. This is very, very pleasant music, generally speaking. At least if you're the type of person who is used to listening to extreme metal and is unbothered by that, then this is on the pretty side. I guess if you have never listened to any extreme metal your entire life, you'll probably find this to be a less pleasant experience.
Right. It'll be off-putting at times.
But for the most part, just a beautiful, nice album to listen to.
Yeah.
There's a couple songs that have French titles.
Yes.
That I have translated via the amazing service known as Google.
Midnight Gardens is the first song.
Yes, Midnight Gardens. Les Jardins de Minuit.
I was doing that all day today, too. I was told to be going around. I sounded like the chef from The Little Mermaid.
L'Île des Morts.
Island of Death.
Island. That one I translated before I put it in Google. I was like, I'm pretty sure that is island. And then Morts is death, because that's easy peasy. And then Les Mirror. What could that be? Perhaps the mirror,
the camel.
Yeah. But yeah, there are some, like every other song title is in French, and then the offcuts are in English.
Right.
A text message. Oh, not a text message. Sorry. I picked up my phone, missed phone call.
Really?
From Homst, from my dad.
Oh.
Well, I'll call him back.
Kevin?
It's probably about hunting. Yes. Because that's coming up at the end of the week.
Yes.
But
that's right. We're not gaming next week, right?
No.
Okay.
Or not for like another 3 weeks. But
that's when we start doing. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Yes. Things people have no context for,
right.
As if that matters. Does this album slap?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I would say it does. Not all the time, but most of the time. Yeah.
I'd say that it always slaps in the sort of the modern vernacular of
and that it's good.
Yeah. Oh man, this lemonade really slaps.
This really slaps, bro. Just picturing someone say that about their lemonade. This lemonade fucking slaps, Mrs. Adams. David, you're 8. Do not be talking like that to me.
Please take your hand off my ass.
So looking around for reviews of this album, Metacritic has it sitting at an 82, which is
That's good.
About normal for albums that people agree are good to listen to. Usually place somewhere in the low to mid 80s. What's your favorite cut on this album?
You know, I didn't get a favorite cut until the second time I listened to it. And it's like, this is the different cut for me. It's Sapphire is the song that really sticks out as something I would have listened to in the mid to late 90s.
All right. I put down, I'm just going to say the English title, Isle of the Dead. I really like the extra, I presume it was a guest vocalist. It sounded like a woman.
Yes, there is a guest vocalist woman. Also, the bass player is a woman.
Okay, but yes, I really liked the extra vocal added in there, the extra harmony. Just really kind of made that song kind of stand out. A lot of the songs on here are fairly long.
It's 41 minutes.
Yeah, it's a 41-minute album, 6 songs. Right. But that's kind of what you get for, I mean, just sort of black gaze. Just atmospheric music in general tends to have a lot of long tracks on it, which is something that generally does not bother me.
Right, because they're not trying to deliver you catchy hooks. What they're giving you is that's what you want. It's a feature, not a bug.
Yes. When you have like with the Lorna Shore album that we listened to, there were a couple of songs where it's just like, this is maybe just a little bit too long.
Right.
Slightly outstaying its welcome and doing the same thing as it has been doing for the last few minutes.
Right. But that's with, sort of what were supposed to be catchy riffs.
Yes. And that's why it feels like it's outstaying its welcome. Because it's like, I've heard this too many times before. This was great the first 5 times I heard it. But now on time number 10, it's wearing on me a bit.
Why did you deliver 5 pounds of cotton candy to my house?
Who needs 5 pounds of cotton candy? This takes up an entire room.
It was good for the first few bites.
And now I want to be done. Somebody get a spray bottle
and reduce this to a tiny hunk.
A sludge of sugary nightmare.
Both of those, by the way, were my nicknames in high school.
Sugary hunk.
And sludge of nightmare.
Sugary sludge nightmare.
Yeah.
Sugary sludge nightmare.
It's also my pimp name.
Sugary sludge nightmare sounds like it could be a metal microgenre, which is sludge metal mixed with dream pop.
I would listen to that.
Yeah,
I would totally listen to that.
Like dream pop sludge metal.
Dude, if it exists, that exists.
Somebody has to have done it. But if you think about it, it's like, if you think about the weirdest dream pop acts out there, they're not that diametrically opposed to kind of the ethos of sludge metal.
It's the same feel.
They're both fucking weird and, and trippy. Right. I think it could be done and it might be good. Outside of just a this is fucking weird, so it's good. It might be genuinely good. I turned into Marge Simpson there for a second. Homer, what are you listening to?
It's Dream Gaze.
Dream Gaze.
Yeah. Which I'm sure is a magazine. Yeah.
All right. So what metal are you bestowing upon this album? Spiritual Instinct by Alcest. Like Mascanada to Chewbacca.
I give this a gold.
I think I'm giving it a silver.
Yeah.
I've listened to this album a number of times before. I've listened to a lot of other Alcest albums a number of times before. But that's over a period of like 7 years.
Right. This is new for me. This is fresh for me.
Yeah. And for me, it's like there's every time I've listened to Alcest, I'm always like, oh, this is good. But I'm never like, I got to listen to this a ton more times. It's always just like, this is really good. Yeah. And I will come back and listen to this a year from now and enjoy it because it's beautiful and nice and pleasant and easy to listen to.
Right.
But it doesn't quite grab me. And honestly, it might be the fact that it's in French.
Really?
It might be the fact that the lyrics aren't in English. I feel like if the lyrics aren't in English and if I knew what was being sung, it might grab me more because I engage with music on a very emotional level.
Sure.
And an important part of that for me is knowing what's being said in the lyrics. Not that the emotion cannot be conveyed with the instrumentation alone, but the lyrics are also a very important part. My favorite band's The Wonder Years.
Sure, but we are talking about a subgenre of black metal. Black metal is not known for, legible lyrics all that much. I mean, you could look them up and read them, but I have no idea what's being screamed to me right now.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know. But calling this album just black metal though is not really appropriate. Like, again, it's more similar to bands like Deaf Heaven and which I can't really say that Deaf Heaven has particularly legible lyrics or anything, but but also the most of the lyrics on this album are sung clean. Right. Which would be more discernible if they were in English. So yeah. I don't know why I turned into somebody from New York.
So here's another thing that happened to me today. Is that after I did the whole I think I may have done some radio breaks in bad French.
It's a bad French accent.
But then it devolved because I think my brain started to shut down and I started to become a sim.
You turned into Simlish?
I turned into Simlish. Dung bunga dagi waga. Yishalabandika?
Scoobly Boblu? They always have
Scoobly Boblu.
Voices in every Maxis game sound like that. It must be the same voice. I played a lot of Spore when I was a teenager. Do you remember Spore?
I never played Spore.
So Spore was made by the same people that make The Sims, and it was like you make like you could just do like the monster creator where you could create like a creature. But the main part of the game was like you start out as like a single cell and then you evolve and go through, all the stages of life up to civilization and become a spacefaring. But you get to a certain point where your creature is capable of speech and they sound like a sim. Because it's a Maxis game.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say you start as a single cell and you go through all the stages of grief. I don't know why I thought you were going to say that.
You start as a single cell experiencing what's the first stage?
First stage? Denial? No.
I think it is denial.
Yeah.
Anyway. Thanks for listening to this episode. What do we want to talk about next week?
I actually want to talk about an album that is less than a month old that I listened to recently. Oh
my God.
Yeah, I'm bringing new stuff. Bringing new stuff by a band that I've been sort of lukewarm about for the last 20 years.
All right.
The album is called Omens.
Omens by
Lamb of God.
Oh, okay. Yeah. A band I'm also kind of lukewarm about.
But this album, I listened to it and I don't know if I was just in the mood at the moment and it struck a chord, but all right. We'll talk about it next week.
I think their album that came out in 2016, I think that was Sturm and Drang. I remember I liked that one. But yeah, Lamb of God, Omens. All right. Let's fucking get to it. We'll talk about it next week. Oh, geez, Rick.
Marty.
But until then, why don't you go ahead and follow us on Facebook or on Twitter and get your updates there when you follow us on those websites. Otherwise, just subscribe to our feed. I'm all over the place tonight. Subscribe to our feed on your Apple Podcast app or on Libsyn's podcast source or just their website or whatever. I don't know.
Well, you're listening right now, so apparently you know where to go.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
I don't need to tell you shit. You're so fucking smart.
Exactly.
I'm proud of you.
Tell your mom we said hi.
Tell your mother I said hi. It's a fucking mess right at the end. Thanks very much for listening to another episode of the Bronze Metalist Podcast. I'm Cale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.